MIKE-KE4KOP. Got a copy?
KOP. Boy, I have not heard you forever, Roger.
Yes, we used to talk a lot on 2 meters and 70 centimeter many years ago. And goodness sakes, you're so close, you blow my doors off at 20 over 9 that there. I'm running barefoot with this ICOM 706 that I just got tuned up and also changed the microphone altogether. I started out with a microphone that sounded like junk, you know, and I literally had to strip it all out and start from afresh. So now I've got relatively an okay mic. I just don't know what it sounds like now. I'm about maybe 20 centimeter, maybe an inch away from the mic. Over.
Oh, yes, sir. Well, it's a lot of upper mids and upper mids, not a high upper mids, but just in that mid-range area. So it's, that way. Now, obviously, I would prefer a little more bottom end there to, approximate that warm Qso EQ. So, it might be that maybe, you might want to try another mic for Qso. That's a really good communications mic, and it sounds just like VHF or UHF, Roger.
Oh, okay, Jim. Well, thank you for that. Goodness sakes. Jim, well, thank you for that. The one that came with it is not an original, what they call HM 103 type microphone that came with the rig. It was a third party kind of thrown in the mix kind of thing. And when I first started working with it, it didn't have any output to it at all. So I took out every single piece of SMDs I could find in there, just scraped the board off and started with the SMDs with like certain things that had in the HM 103 and put those in. That was completely too hot on the high end and nothing on the low, so I have increased the coupling in the circuit by I think 10-fold. Maybe I need to increase that to bring the lows back into the picture there. But thank you very much for
Roger. Yeah, that's what I would do. I would let some more bottom end come up there. You're probably rolling off now. I'm looking at your audio on a spectrum analyzer, and I just see one kind of a tint right there around 1K, 1.2K, in that area, 800 hertz. Gosh, if you would. Probably let some more of the bottom come out, and it may be that you want to take your go the other way and just reduce your mid-range. I seldom say this because I firmly believe that the mid-range should be flat or off as far as EQ is concerned in a regular 3-band radio. But sometimes it makes more sense just to unless you want to get another microphone, and that might be easier than anything else, even resetting your EQ as far as that's concerned. But you control that audio, so I'm just telling you, it's a lot of mids, very little lows, and not a lot of highs. Roger?
Roger that, Jim. Thank you very much on that. At least I got someplace to go. I may increase the coupling a bit more and see if I can, I don't know if I can do anything about the highs because they were pretty pronounced when I first started this endeavor to do my own simple EQ on the microphone itself. I did try an MFJ, but they had a lot of issues with RF and stuff like that. I didn't care for it, so I pulled it off and came back to this microphone. So, I'd rather have a dynamic so I have a little more flexibility, but unfortunately it's not the case with the electret element here. So that's where I'm at, and it's good to hear you there, Jim. Appreciate it very much. And we just say 73 for the time being, and we'll get back to work sometime and give you a holler again real soon when I change the coupling again. Let's see. KC9VKV, I think it was, KE4KOP.
Roger, KOP. And are you in Indiana or Kentucky? I never was sure about that.
I'm actually here in Louisville, Kentucky, the outskirts in the eastern end of the county, in an area called Middletown. I'm inside the Douglas Hills facilities here, or the, what do you call that, suburban area. And I've been here the last 18 years, I guess, roughly.
Roger that. And just out of curiosity, does your radio have an ALC meter in it, or does it have a light, or how does that go?
Well, it does have a meter on it. I haven't used it very much, but I can probably get here just by hitting a few buttons here. And let's see. That's the SWR. I noticed that there is a little push every once in a while off of the zero of the ALC, but not often. Over.
Yeah, Roger. Well, you know, our normal setup on an ALC meter is 7 or 2/3 as the sweet spot on that ALC meter, 7 or 2/3, and we use the word audio. We become a human test tone generator, and we have our hand on the mic gain, and as we say the word audio, we adjust the mic gain until the ALC meter is reading 7 or 2/3, and we've then set our modulation level.
Hey, Roger that. Very good. Well, I just bumped the gain control. That's about all I have here. That's on, I started out as a 5 as a medium level there. This is number 6 at the moment. I'll increase it next time around. Over.
Roger, that's still sounding really good. It's starting to fatten up a little bit. That's why we chose a 3 dB dynamic range that we were looking for. You know, unprocessed audio runs about a 10 dB dynamic range, and if you were to modulate that without processing it, your average percent of peak modulation would be somewhere down around 30%. So what we do is try to pull that audio up to a 3 dB dynamic range, and then our average percent of peak modulation becomes 80 to 85%. Very, very solid audio there, and but clean. Every word, you know, words have to have life. When they get stressed out and you're up against the wall and you have no dynamic range in your words, then it becomes very difficult to understand them. So we want to keep about a 3 dB dynamic range on those words, so their articulation is just perfect.
Hey, very good, Jim. Well, I increased the mic gain again to a number 7 now. That's probably 2/3 of my scale here. It goes from 0 to 10, I believe. And the ALC is bobbing up and down a little more now. I don't know how deep I can go on this, but I noticed compression on this is so tight. I may have to do something with it. I have it turned off right now because I normally don't like to use compression if at all possible. But if it sounds any better, let me know, and we'll take it up another notch. Over.
Roger. Now, just out of curiosity, you do not have a transmit bandwidth adjustment. You probably have no transmit bandwidth. You are a 2.7 or 2.6 radio without the capability of changing your transmit bandwidth. Is that Roger?
Yes, that's correct, Jim. This is probably one of the first 706s that came out the first time around. So there's no DSP, no processing, anything. It's just flat radio out of the box kind of thing.
Roger, I mean, but it does have a compressor, or did you add that later?
It does have compression on it. I have not used it, though.
Roger, Roger. So what we normally do is we're looking for just a bare minimum of compression. We're looking for a 3 out of 10 or 30 out of 100, just a third of the capabilities of that compressor processor. Roger, Roger?
Okay. Do you want to see what it sounds like with compression?
Sure. If you have a rotary volume input to your compressor processor, you might want to start that at about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning. Roger?
Okay. Well, I can't quite see it very well. I turn the radio on the side, and it's dark in there. I may have to readjust that myself on a later time there.
Roger, if you're doing something now, whatever you're doing now is working. I don't know if you increased your proximity to microphone or you actually turned on the compressor, but that last signal was very nice, together. Roger?
Oh, okay. Well, let me turn on the compressor switch, and you can see the difference here. This is with it off, and next transmission will be on.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, this is compression turned on, over.
Yes, sir. So that's too much. Do you have an input control for that compressor? Or maybe back off about 10 points or 20? We want to try to approach this thing with some finesse. I think finesse is always the word around a compressor processor.
Okay, now that's, I did bump it down a bit. Does that make any difference?
Okay, well, why don't you give me a little audio there and turn it off at some point and just say what you're doing, Roger?
Okay, I just turned it down just a touch. Didn't move it very much. But this is the compressor is off, I think. I'll turn it on. Okay, now that's the compressor's turned on now. It's roughly going up to about a 9 dB on the scale. Well, maybe that's the S meter. Don't know.
Roger, well, I would back off about 10 degrees at least. 10, if you were at a 50, I'd go to a 40 on that input, because that is a startling amount of compression to just introduce. So that's why we're looking for a 3. A 3 is just barely not noticeable.
Okay, well, I turned it down a bit more. Do you see any difference now, over?
I could bring it on down some more, and let's see. We'll do an off-on test.
Okay, I just made another adjustment. It's still on. Now I'll turn it off. There, I turned it off. KE4KOP.
There's a whole lot less difference now from on to off, which is what we're interested in. We don't want a big, mound of, Doc, the compressor's on. We're just trying to do a finesse. And so I would bring the compression level input up just a tad more, just a little bit, just barely. Roger?
Okay, this is still off, and this is turning it on, right? Now it's turned on. This is KE4KOP.
Okay, so I think it needs to have just a little bit more level, because I'm noticing there is not much dynamic range difference between on and off, and there should be just a little bit. So maybe increase your input level to your compressor processor just a tad more than where you are.
Okay, we'll start this when it's off now, and now we're turning it on. It is now on. This is the KE4KOP in the midst of a test on the audio. compression here.
Roger, Roger. And I'll tell you, it does shift the EQ curve. When you bring it on, it does get more mid-rangey. Like somebody said, hey, you need a little more mid-range if you're going to run that kind of compression, which is probably right, but I'm just saying that instead of just the compressor coming on and off, there is an EQ shift simultaneous with the on, that it gets a little more mids, Roger?
Okay, Jim, I still have the compressor on, but that's good to note. I never really noticed that before. Since I've never used it, it's always good to have something compressed to say get through the pilots or something, and it plus it helps control the amplifier too, so you don't over distort anything.
Yeah, roger that, roger that. Well, I would keep that as one of my backup secrets in the war of CQDX and all that stuff. You have an ace in the drawer there by that compressor, but I don't think that I would normally run that because it makes you feel a little aggressive.
Personally, I don't normally run it anyway, so that's good to note. Anyway, you have any further suggestions that I could do for the compressors?
Roger, and you know, now we have a difference of opinion on microphones as far as dynamic versus electret. I have seen electret microphones just, replacing a dynamic microphone, and it's like walking through the door. I mean, into the room, as opposed to being outside in another room with your dynamic mic. I really believe that you do have a much better top-end response with your electret microphones, and therefore your definition and your articulation is much greater with a electret microphone. But the other thing is you can't speak directly into an electret mic. You have to work it from the side, talk across it, or get a very good foam windscreen. A foam windscreen on an electret mic is just unbelievable. It just reroutes those wind turns away from the microphone and lets the microphone just concentrate on translating the words instead of wind velocities. Roger?
Oh, yes, affirmative on that. Yeah, well, that's what this element is. It's an electret element, and of course, when I first started working with it, I really didn't like it because I had to have the mic gain clear up to the top before I got any output out of it, and therefore I wouldn't know if I'd be transmitting or not at the time. But now I've got mic gain set about right, I think. I think I'm still running about a 7. Something like that. Yeah, I'm a 7 out of 10, so that's about 2/3 of the scale. So I'm looking good there. Anyway, the compressor, I've never really dealt with anything there before, but it's always good to know in the background of where it stands and all that good stuff. And thanks so much for your time there, Jim. Anything else?
Roger. Well, I could hear some of those missing syllabic parts back in that electret microphone, more so than on the dynamic microphone. I have a circuit called a CRISPR. And the idea is that this is a passive device that works on the principle of shaping audio coming into the electret microphone. Now, if you consider something like a phono plug that has a piece of plastic that has a tapered piece and the wire comes in, and then you have this tapered piece that goes over the wire, and then the tapered piece comes up to a round thing. Well, it just so happens that that round thing is the same size as electret microphone. So, and then what I found was that not only could I get strain relief on the wire going to the electret element, but if I countersunk the electret element back into the overhanging shell of this phono cover, that it would take the audio on a rising curve from 1 kc up to 6 or 7 kc, and it would just make a nice little crispy sound there, and just to incorporate all the lovely tones in that area and pre-emphasize those, so in a transmitter they just sound gangbusters, Roger.
Very good. That sounds very interesting. I guess I had to modify the case here or something around the element.
Well, you know, I don't know if you're using one already, or how tight space is, how tight the space is, but I do know, you know, obviously you don't have to use that taper piece. You could razor blade that off and just use the round piece and try to get some kind of strain relief on those leads going to the electret element a different way, but it didn't require space out the back, which you know may not have them. The important thing is the overhang of the connector plastic shield over the microphone, the electret microphone, and I found that about 1/4 of an inch, between 1/8 and 1/4 of an inch overhang, is enough to skew that audio top end up maybe 6 or 7 dB by 6 kc, Roger?
Okay, I see. So I noticed it's only got what looks like a pinhole in the microphone case on the front side, of course, where the element is just stuck into a little, like a small barrel, very short at that, but it's all the way sunk into the barrel pretty deeply already.
Roger. Well, you know, I tend to look at this as a new project, you know, so I'm disregarding the mic and the holder and all the stuff that's there, and I'm coming with you know, maybe Gorilla Tape to form some kind of thing in the middle of the microphone. I don't want any metallic stuff, if I can avoid it, in front of the microphone, like some kind of a grill. What I would rather have would be a foam windscreen that fits over the whole microphone, including the hole that the electret's mounted in, and that gives you protection from even there. You know, there are some grills that cause noise when wind comes across them, Roger.
Yes, indeed. I see what you're getting at now. So just engulf the entire element into like a foam bubble of some sort, and have that kind of like emerge from the microphone face to present to the rest of the world.
That's it, sir. And, you know, windscreens are like $5 a piece. They're very cheap. You can get one in red if you want it. And then just slip that over, say, you could use, you know, better to use a metal sleeve, you know, like a regular microphone. But instead of complicated, just a half-inch piece of round steel with a hole in the middle, you know, it's just a cover. And just put your windscreen over one end of it, and put a rubber band or a piece of tie wrap or whatever you need, and just pull that tight, and that gives you a foam windscreen on one end, and you can just super glue the lead coming out the back end, or you could put an XLR on it, or you could do whatever you want, you know. But if you do go XLR, you got to remember that, excuse me, that you're going to have to ground one of those high sides because your element is unbalanced, Roger.
Yes, affirmative, Jim. I certainly understand that. Yeah, I've kind of gotten. I'm using a dynamic microphone on my other transmitter there, the DX40, and it works great there. But you got to make sure it's shielded quite readily to reduce the hum and pickup and all that kind of stuff. Hey, really appreciate your insight on that. I might be working on this handheld and see if I can put a windscreen around the element there. That sounds like a pretty neat project.
Yes, sir. Now, I have one other thought. How far are you off mic, working mic, right at the moment?
About 1 inch or so.
Okay, so it's really not going to help us to try to get a little proximity effect going there, because you're close enough that you'd already be incurring some proximity effect on the bass buildup as you get closer to a microphone. I thought maybe, if you were like 8 inches off, we could get you to come in close there and maybe pick up some bottom end. But if you're only, I tell you, come up on that mic to, work it to the corner of your lips, talk across it, don't talk into it. Roger?
Roger, that's basically what I'm doing right now there, Jim. Talking across the face of the microphone. Matter of fact, there's nothing in front of me right now, and I'm on the side of my mouth, about 1 inch from the main speech pattern that comes out of my mouth, Anyway, do you still need the compression on or off at this point?
I'm not sure about the compressor. I think I would just leave it off for now. You're into your ALC meter a few clicks, so you're fat. So I would just leave it like that. And if you want to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word logbook, that will take you to this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 3600. And I'll have it uploaded to YouTube by noon tomorrow. Roger?
Yeah, roger that there. I turned my compressor off. So thank you very much for your tips on the simple audio circuit here. And, we might be pursuing the idea with the windscreen and so forth. Anyway, thank you very much, Jim. I'm going to have to jump off here and get something else done here. So 73, and we'll catch you next time I'm on the radio here. Let's see, that was KC9VKV from KE4KOP.
Roger, KOP 73, sir. Good to talk at you. Good to hear you. Don't be a stranger. This is a Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.